it's in those tragic times that I think we need to dig deep and say, are we going to get crushed, or are we going to rise above and actually move into our legacy play? So a legacy play can kind of be defined as like when it's no longer success and ambition and achievement and significance, but it's what is the lasting thing that when I'm not here on this earth anymore, besides my kids in your case, for example, that I'm leaving behind? What is my great work in the world? What was my purpose here?
Welcome to Reward, the podcast of The Trust. We are the show specifically for women entrepreneurs who want to build businesses into the multi-million-dollar revenues and beyond, but especially because we know the reward is much greater than that. I'm Allie Brown, and I'm excited to introduce you to these diverse female leaders from a variety of industries, women making huge impact and who are unwilling to settle for the status quo. On the web, visit jointhetrust.org to learn more about our modern community for forward-thinking 7- and 8-figure women entrepreneurs. That's jointhetrust.org. See you there. Now, get ready to enjoy this episode's powerful conversation. Live from Scottsdale, Arizona. We're actually neighbors now, somewhat.
Yeah, we are. I love it.
Somewhat. We could do this in person if we were more organized, but you still don't have a lot of furniture, and I don't have room to do it in my house anymore with guests.
I know. It's okay. Well, we're going to get this done.
Yeah, it's great to see you, Anna. It's great to have you on the show. I'm thinking, were you on Glambition?
No,
a while ago.
I never made it.
You were never on the last show?
No, I was so bummed about that. And I think it was like when I finally was about to apply, and then you were like, "Oh, I got a new show."
I think I canned it. Yeah. My glam. Well, now it's about the reward, right? I did the glam and I did the bition.
Yeah. Yeah. We need some reward.
Which is it's a good conversation kind of to go into your whole story and what you've created. And, I kind of forgot how long I've known you now, a pretty good stretch. And you've been through some evolutions, while I've known you, but also many before that. And I want to know, as far back as you would be comfortable starting, I love hearing people's origin story, really. How, what was the background and how you decided to go into pharma? What was your life like? Tell us just kind of the evolutions from there, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, kind of long story short, I was always interested in science. I went into pharma, and I knew that when I was in pharmacy school, I didn't want the CVS or the hospital pharma. I did both of those, as intern, et cetera. But then when I was graduating, I wanted to go into the pharmaceutical industry, and everybody said it would be impossible. And that's all you have to tell me, that it's going to be impossible. So I actually remember typewriters, Allie? Because we're that easy.
Yes.
Yeah. Scrolling up.
The Smith Corona.
I know. Yep. Just 120 resumes typed up, and I sent them everywhere. And I got 2 interviews, and I got in at Wyeth. And then once I had a few months at Wyeth, I got a clinical scientist job that I really wanted at SmithKline Beecham. And once I was in there, I wanted to be the suit. I wanted to be in research and development, and I did that. And
so can I ask a clarifying question? So if you get a it's called a PharmD, right? Mm-hmm. Your degree, you have 2 routes. You can deal with people at pharmacies, which to me would be like, oh my gosh, like these people and their meds, and it's needed, right? Thank goodness for those people. But it's a special type of temperament, I'm going to guess, to work in those situations. Yeah. And I know you.
I know.
You would, I'm just laughing thinking of you dealing with people.
I know. I love them, and I'm sweet and everything. But that kind of environment is very jarring to my spirit, right? It's too much.
And you move so fast, and you're a fast thinker. So this other track you can go into, what do you call that? Corporate, or what do you call that? What would you call that?
Going into corporate.
Okay.
Basically the corporate side of things, even though you're the science driver behind everything, you're the ones creating the medications. It's the clinical, the research, the development, and then bringing it post-market. So there's strategy to that. So then there's sales and marketing. And I'm not on the sales and marketing side, but in medical affairs, we had to learn the commercial strategy. And so when I mentioned Wyeth earlier, my first remit was in marketing. I learned marketing, and I'm the PharmD back there. I'm the pharmacist. And they were like, I don't understand. I'm like, you need me because you need the science behind this. This is why you're not getting effective. And so I knew that marriage needed to happen in pharma. And so at the highest levels, that's what strategy is. And so becoming, moving up the corporate ladder, I became that strategist. And so you learn everything. So entrepreneurship after that became very, very intuitive because I knew all sides of it. And I have the personality for it. So you kind of need that. You need a balance of, I'm the geeky scientist, like I can introvert when needed, but I'm mostly an extrovert and I need to get up on the stages and talk about what I'm doing too. So that's just who I was. And it's very similar to your personality, I would say too, because you have a lot of it behind you. You have a lot of the brains behind you, but you also, you're in front and you're in front of us. And I think that is something that is so needed for entrepreneurship. It's special of kind of where we are and how we're wired. I think it's genetic. It is genetic, actually.
So what were some highlights of when you were in, the big companies with these big teams? And that must have been exciting when you had something that was really going to make a difference in people's lives and you were trying to communicate that.
Yeah. At different companies, in one company, I had 136 employees in 36 different countries. And that was a regional role. And then I had a global role, smaller team, 57 total with contractors, but I had 4 regions of the globe. And that kind of impact of keeping a team together, really, I loved my team just as much as the content that we were working on and everything that we did for patients. But the core life method, it's what's at the center of all you do. So for us, it was patience. So applying that to business became what my next entrepreneurial journey was going to be. And that was important. But, most people are like, oh, what's in it for me? I'm the employee. What's in it for me? And you see this at much the younger levels these days, right? The Gen Y, the Gen Z, they're not seeing what the big picture is. And I don't think companies are doing as good a job as they can, really casting the vision of why we're doing what we're doing.
So the core life method, which is your proprietary kind of framework that you've developed, that started while you were at these companies, like the beginnings of that?
The beginnings of that started while I was actually already an entrepreneur. So I left GlaxoSmithKline finally in 2004, and I started my first company. And in my first year, I was in multi-six figures. So I was doing something right. And I think that because the heart of what I did was, let me do medical information and medical affairs better, right? For the right drug, for the right patient at the right time, trademark the taglines, all that stuff back then. And that was all good and everything. But then 2008 rolled around. 2008, my business crashed. I lived in Florida at the time, and I went through one client after another that was being merged. Like 2008 was this great merger time. It was the time of acquisitions. So all these small companies in Florida that were my clients were bought by one company after another. And so we ended up, Jaime lost his job at the same time. And for his job, we moved up to Pennsylvania. I had to restart my business from scratch. And then it was the first time in my career as an entrepreneur and in service to my same industry that I got to ask the question, what do I really want to do? And when I asked that question, it was like, well, what I really want to do is make double the money at half the time. I want to work 20 hours a week, and I want to actually double what I did at RXER Communications, which was the original name of Core Life Group. And I did it. It took about 6 months, but I prayed about it. I let it go. And I said, this is what I really want. And it happened. And then during that time, when I'm busy working at spreadsheets for my new pharmaceutical clients, doing the 20 hours, and this was great. And now my team of 4 at the time ended up from that point forward growing to a team of 11. And contract after contract came. And even though I was just happy, I'm creating, for me, it's like the hunt and kill. I love going and getting a contract, but then I love delegating it to someone else. And I do most of it, right? Like I'm the face of the company, but I love doing that. And so anyway, I was in those beginning stages in Pennsylvania typing away, pecking away at a spreadsheet. And then the download came. It was literally an answer to prayer. And it was about a life balance wheel for these incredibly out of balance employees like myself, leaders, senior directors, vice presidents above, everybody's running around like a chicken without their head. And especially in flat organizations, like in 2025, business has been hard the last couple of years. So this balance wheel that I created, it became an entire life balance system. And over the past 16 years, I've written about it, I've published it, I've trained thousands of people on it. But it's something that I keep going back to when life is out of balance. So I just think that these downloads, we have to, capture them, because when an idea comes, it's for you to bring out to the world. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of God's way of working through us.
When people hear balance wheel, they may think of, many other models they've seen of that in the past. Can you explain what's different about the wheel that you, and I've seen it. I want to share. I think I saw it. Some of it was still coming together, which was exciting, or the last pieces of it. So what is different about your balance wheel?
Yeah, it's a big, big difference. So the outside of the wheel is like a regular life balance wheel, each area of your life, health, career, etc. So as you go in, you have a realm, you have another realm. So we live in a 3D world. We live in the Newtonian 3D world. As you go in, you move into the realm of time and you move into the realm of mind. So there's two components there, and your brain is wired to the time, because we've created time. So in this, that's where the time wasters, the time stealers, the naysayers, the problems, the circumstances of life, they will have us looking out to those areas of our life. They'll be like, oh my gosh, this is how I feel about my bank account going down right now. And if you look inward, there's something else. There's the realm of spirit. And there's my spirit meeting the spirit of God. And I have no problem saying that anymore publicly. And it's like, this is really what it is. When I'm focused on what my purpose is, then nothing else really matters, because I know that life can ebb and flow and things can change and circumstances can go haywire. But as long as I maintain my peace from the center, that's exactly what my purpose is. I just have to know. And I knew when these wheels came down, because the first wheel is the one I'm describing now. That's a life balance wheel. But now there's over 30 different graphics that I've created over time. It's an entire system. And the business wheel it was like a second download. That was several years later when that came. So that's what I apply when I go into business. How are they overcoming that with, is the patient really the center of all you do in big pharma or in small biotech? Or is it the shareholder? Is it the quarterly report? Or is it the new merger or the acquisition? We're all going to go through change. The circumstances of our life and time are going to continue to spin. But what are we going to do with that? Are we going to let our feathers get ruffled emotionally, right? Or are we going to stay steady from the truth that we know that's inside of us? And we all have that.
Even though people listening may not be in your industry or near it at all, I think a lot of what you shared is so applicable, especially in just today's day and age. Like it just seems like a few decades ago, things could be even more linear and simple and how we approached life. And now there's just multi-dimensions, things coming at us that make us feel a certain way, but that isn't our truth, the external factor. There's like the world. And then there's all this internal churning right now where we're also, many of us at a certain age and season in our life are looking for more meaning and more impact and legacy. And, are you finding that your methods and this stuff is resonating, especially with, I hate saying our age.
I know.
I'm so sick of saying, I'm sorry, I'm sick of hearing about menopause. And I know I'm menopausal, but I don't want to freaking hear about it. Like, it's just everywhere. I think every aging influencer now is like talking about menopause. It's like we're all aging together.
I know.
And there's all selling stuff to each other now regarding menopause. But anyway, this season of, when you look at this, I'm looking at it from a business lens, especially this season of our life where I just did a Instagram live, like a story just like an hour ago before this, because I was interviewing another member of the trust, and we're just talking about like having permission to change with these seasons. So tell me a bit where you think all the women listening from all places could take something from what you're sharing today.
Absolutely. That's such insight, Allie. I mean, it's so true. It's exactly where we are. And it's where we are almost not just in a certain age bracket, but at a certain age bracket, you start going through more stuff. You become the caregiver. You become the person who lost a spouse. You become the person that got, I call them the 3Ds, the death, the diagnosis, the divorce you never thought was going to happen. Right. And these things happen and it changes you. And you can either let it crush you or you can look within and say, what am I really here for? What do I really want to do now? How do I really want to work and operate? And I think I did a post on my Substack this week, Core Expressions. And I said something, actually 2 weeks ago. And I said, what is it in you? Stop looking for the courses that you need to go take. What is it in you that you need to go teach at this point? And a couple people stopped and said, yeah, that's it.
Wow.
I do. These women are forgetting who they are. Sometimes I say, go read your resume, right? You are so stellar. And these women are brilliant and they're coming up and then they're being forced out with ageism from their companies, or they're being passed over and divorced. And, I went through endometrial cancer. Well, one of the statistics for cancer, I had a husband, and Jaime, but, I had a husband that he was there for me every step of the way. Our marriage up leveled during this process, with trust factor. And other people not so lucky. Men see the women after radiation and losing their hair, and 70% of women who've had kind of an estrogen-based cancer will go through a divorce. Maybe 10% are the ones that initiate it. They say, I don't have hormones anymore, get out. But most of the time it's the guy leaves. And so women are devastated, and women are, thwarted when like a company just says, okay, we've gone through this merger and acquisition, and guess what? You're redundant. Well, it's in those tragic times that I think we need to dig deep and say, are we going to get crushed, or are we going to rise above and actually move into our legacy play? So a legacy play can kind of be defined as like when it's no longer success and ambition and achievement and significance, but it's what is the lasting thing that when I'm not here on this earth anymore, besides my kids in your case, for example, that I'm leaving behind? What is my great work in the world? What was my purpose here? And that's what legacy really is. And everybody has that. We're created for a purpose. So it's time for people to say, it's okay who I am, to bring my knowledge out to the world exactly how it is. And it's okay to have these wrinkles on LinkedIn or Riverside or wherever we are right now, right? And actually share our wisdom, because that's the only thing that's going to actually bring change.
We were chatting a bit before we started recording, and we both agreed there's like this required reinvention, and during this decade, typically this era of our lives. And all of you listening, again, I just want to tell you what an incredible opportunity this is, though. It's the best place to be, because you now choose. Like, you are choosing. I think my 20s, I was following, things I saw out there. 30s, I was starting to believe in myself. 40s, I was like execution mode, like, let's, get this done. And now 50s, it's this beautiful place of like, okay, what do I really want? And what can I do in this last season? And I'm having a lot more fun also. I don't know. Are you?
I am. I'm like, maybe I just want to write. I know we have a meeting coming up and I have to do slides for, the meeting and all that stuff. But, next week when we get together, I might caveat the whole thing and say, all this I might throw out the window by January. And
totally.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's okay to, man can make his plans, but the Lord directs your steps. Like, be led by whatever you believe is your higher power, and be led so that, true power can move through you. That's your core power. I love that. It is the new way to be and lead. And when I first told you that years ago, you said that's where it's at right there.
Oh, it was when I saw you put that up on the flip chart, I'm just like, wow, that is probably the most profound model I've seen on, like, a visual model on how we should look at the whole and how we should operate and recognize that power within, and
Yeah.
how to work from that and that connect. And the first time I saw someone have God in the middle, which I loved, that I resonated with that so strongly,
Mm-hmm.
because I know for me, just even the last several years, it's just become such a stronger part of my life. Like I went through a divorce, which many people know about. I never talked a lot about it, but and it was, compared to many, I want to say, maybe very mild to some people's experiences. I don't want to deny that, but feeling like this failure, that what I wanted so badly was just not going to happen. Like that, there was just no way or how. And there's no way I could have processed that without getting closer to God and getting closer to that truth within me,
Yeah.
and then recreating from there. And I thought of your wheel when I was going through that.
Oh.
And actually, when I decided to go to church on New Year's Day in 2022, I don't know if I ever shared that with you, but I was actually thinking, like, I need to start working from here and only from here and from that place.
That's awesome.
And as I rebuild, and I'm still, people may not realize I'm still kind of rebuilding from that, like just emotionally, mentally. It's been a long process, but having something like that, I mean, I think you could have so many versions of this to help people in so many different situations.
Right. And we do. We have over 30. And first of all, thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. And when we came to Arizona going through a major, major transition, I mean, you basically returned the favor, right? Like, get us back in church and help us find the right thing. And we've been church hopping ever since. And this past weekend was really significant, because I was like, okay, are we going to go back to, Highlands, or where are we going next? And all of a sudden I heard, during worship, I heard welcome home. And I went and I opened the flyer, and it literally said welcome home when I sat down.
And where was this?
Too much. Oh, it was Dream City. So,
yeah. So is that the one you like?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I haven't been there. It's huge, right?
Yeah, well, there's the main one that's huge, and now we're going to the Scottsdale campus.
Cool.
So,
I've never lived in a town. There's so many churches. It was funny, when we first moved here, we're driving around going like, then I'm like, maybe these people are onto something. Maybe we should go to church.
Right. And no matter
there
where
are so many different kinds.
Yes. And no matter where I've gone, it's just so alive here. And that's very significant. We just feel like we're so in the right place.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
But there's a lot of recalibration. Just going back to what you said, having even over a year after your divorce, there's a lot of recalibration involved. Your nervous system has to reset, your parasympathetic nervous system. I mean, you just need to completely recalibrate your life, get into a new routine. And then there was a move, for both of us recently. And right, we might not have stuff on the walls for a year. It's okay. I still have a pool builder. I'm like, okay, I'm in the quarter last night trying to pick out blinds, right? Because they're on my desk. That's more important than my slide deck, right? So it's just, you know what? We should be women, and we should go with the flow in a season like this, because I think holding on to our humanity and our limitations is what is beautiful and what is necessary in this next stage of life, because we have AI just running us so fast, and that's okay, but we have to be the ones that control it, not the other way around.
It's interesting to me that you're such a spiritual person. Like, to me, like, so that's the first thing like I took from you, but you were so interested in science growing up. So tell me about this kind of journey and the blending of the two. Like, when you were a little girl, did you love science? Were you like dissecting the frogs and like doing chemical equations? Like, tell me about how you grew up.
I went, my dad died when I was 10, and I mean, I was a normal kid kind of until tragedy, and I was adopted at birth, so didn't know that till I was 17. But my dad died when I was 10, and my mom died when I was 26. And so those two pivotal moments in my life, somewhere in between, it was kind of growing up and escaping into Doctor Who or Star Trek because I was just a total geek. And so going into science was very, very natural for me. And I did have a really good brain for it. So my dad's dying wish was that I went to an all-girls private Catholic school. So I did. And one of the nuns in high school finally, like as I, made my way up and got into high school, Sister Alma Ann, I will never forget her, but she's like, you will be a chemist because she's like, I don't even have grades that are higher that I can give you. So it was 100 plus, 101, A plus, plus, plus.
Wow.
I still have a chemistry notebook that I keep with me. I would be up until 1 a.m. I mean, my drive was always there, and I would rewrite my notes until they were perfect, and probably still teach you about Bohr's and Boyle's law and all that stuff. But it's that side of me really wanted to then, after my dad died, many years later, then I'm in pharmacy school and I was a lifeguard, right? I ran as a paramedic, like I did things. And when you have these experiences, you just add on to them. So I don't know. It just became a thing. She was right. I became a chemist. I ended up going to pharmacy school. And during that time, I either wanted to cure AIDS or cancer. That was kind of the two popular things to cure at the time when I went in. And I went into anti-infectives, which touches into both actually, because then there's the antivirals, there's the anti-infectives, not just antibiotics, but the anti-infectives like chemos. And then I found where what I really loved, which was psychology. And so I had started that. I started a minor in psychology when I was in pharmacy school. And then I became really a central nervous system disorders expert in the pharmaceutical industry based on just experience, like so many products that I had worked on in this area. So it's still my number one therapeutic area today of knowledge. And that really goes into, okay, we're trying to create drugs to help people, and I still support the systems that do that in my company, and we still do, but a Core Life Group. But really, as I became a life coach, and then I started working on all the leadership development stuff, that you become the person, you develop yourself as the leader of a company when you become an entrepreneur. So I did all the Tony Robbins stuff. I jumped off of things and,
Did you walk on fire?
Myself. I had totally walked on fire.
Wow.
Yeah, I did all the things. I had all my Mountain Dew moments and all that. And jumped off cliffs and starved myself for a week. I did all the things.
Wow.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So
toughen you up.
Yeah.
How are you different than you were then?
Ooh. I'm softer now. I've been through some things, and I know that what I really want to do when I grow up is just leave my legacy behind, really just leave words that will heal this world. When I created the Corepreneur podcast, the tagline was build your business, balance your life, and leave your legacy. And now that's really morphing into Core Life Radio, because there's more than just entrepreneurship. We're a whole human being, and we are the entrepreneur. And we have feelings, and we go through the circumstances, right? We go through the death, the divorce, the diagnosis, and we have to continue. And there's that product, that end product of what am I leaving behind? Not just the words in my book, but as they always say, like, nobody will ever remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. So I think that right now people are more disconnected than ever. We're connected on social media. We're connected 24/7, 365. And it's too much, too fast all the time. And I've been saying that since 2018. Then hit the internet, then hit AI, then hit ChatGPT. And it's only continuing, and it's only quickening. So it's a time for us to say, this is what I want to slow down. Because there are personality types, like we talked about personalities earlier, like mine and what I perceive as yours. And some people, we're going to just get back on the horse and we're going to go, and we're going to figure it out all the time. In 2020, when we were in the trust together, right after you started it was like everything hit the fan, and we're sitting there going, there's women crying in the group going, I have 4 months away from, not being able to pay my team. And we had to solve some real problems, and we had to all sit back and go, how are we pivoting? And so I think that's the key. How are we pivoting? But how are we pivoting that actually honors our soul, our purpose, and our soul's journey and what we really want to do, that's big, because that's questions that we can ask those are questions we can ask ourselves every single day. And that way we recalibrate day in, day out, and hopefully stay kind of somewhere on the straight and narrow, even though, we zig and zag in life. Like life is not like the linear line that you mentioned earlier. I always say like entrepreneurship is like the stock market. There are the ups and downs, and it's in the downs that you can recalibrate that next up and your next move. So I think it's important.
It's been so great it's been so great to have you back with us in the Trust, because I think you just offer such a different lens into things, and, can kind of laser in, which you're not shy to do, laser in. I'm like, what's the real problem? Here's what we're solving. And, it's been great. It's just been great to have your, acumen back in there like that. Would you mind sharing a bit about, why you are back in the Trust now? I mean, you're very connected. You and Jaime know so many people, and like, you've traveled the world. What brought you back? Like, what were you looking for?
Well, let me start by saying why I left, right? Like I left because of a diagnosis, and I wasn't feeling well for a while. So like coming in and saying like, ooh, how am I going to grow my business? Like it wasn't the conversation I needed at the time, but I evolved and the Trust evolved too. And I've seen that evolution, and I love where it's going, because when you started inviting alumni back, and we came back, and I'm like, okay, I want to go to that hotel. Like it was more about the meeting and seeing everybody and the hugs and the reconnection than it was, I really want to come and be in some 7-figure group of women and figure out my next like hoo-ha, like for my business. I'm not necessarily trying to build from a 7 to 8-figure business. So it wasn't about, leveraging talent and all that. It was more about the connection and friendship that I think I've seen a recent LinkedIn post from you that touched on. And I said, yeah, this is absolute truth, that it's nobody gets us like us, right? Nobody gets the woman that's in charge of the world, and the one that's like handling the home and figuring out the business and masterminding the next launch and keeping all the wheels spinning and taking care of the team, even when you're not paying yourself at times, right? And I've been through and done all of that, and coming back home to a kind of group of women that totally get it. So I know you said you're sick of menopause, but like we were all talking about menopause last meeting. I'm like, it was so funny
during the intros. I'm like, can you all like cork it for like 20 minutes? 20 minutes. Let's just talk about our businesses. And suddenly within, I'm not joking, within 4 minutes, someone says hormones, and people are like, well, what are you on? And blah, blah.
I know.
I'm just like, ladies. But like, we're all helping each other.
I know. You're like, you know what? I remember when you
gave
said,
up.
I facilitate the alphas. What can I do? Like,
it's a bunch of alphas that take over. It is. I rein them in once in a while. And sometimes I don't like it, but it's my job.
It's fun. It was fun. But no, like being back into a group of like-minded women is so important, because we are sharing those intimate details now. And before, I think it was a little bit, it was more, hey, this is how I did my thing, but we're growing together, we're evolving together. And and there's a softness. So that's really great. And I've noticed that. And I said, I just need to be back here. I had gone through several disappointing friendships and even some family disconnections in the last few years. And I said, one of my intentions, one of my prayers was, okay, when I make this major move, I want new community. I have that in my neighborhood. I have that in my entrepreneur group. That is needed. We're not meant to do life alone. We are meant for community. And so having those like-minded circles are super important. I found mine too. So thank you, and happy to be back.
And thank you for noting kind of the evolution that we've been through, because when we launched, talk about alpha, there were a few chest beaters in there, as they call the men's groups, like check out my revenues and check out my list size. What we have right now, just such a beautiful blend of such accomplished women, but with no BS and no airs, Like no one's walking in with, look at me or bragging. We want to hear about your success. We want to hear about your
Yeah.
wins. They talk about them for sure, but it's more about this, connection with each other at like the rising tide, right?
Yeah.
That lifts everyone. And
Yes.
so I'm glad that you've kind of felt that shift too.
Yes.
And I think if any of you listening, if you've run groups and, for several years too, sometimes there are evolutions, and sometimes you're like, oh, that's a bummer that, those people moved on, and, and sometimes you may not understand. And then later you do. Later, you do understand why that happened on purpose. And then the result is you attract even better people into the group that are more at the right frequency to really truly support each other and be there. So
Absolutely.
It's been an amazing few years just seeing the shift in the soul. I hate using these terms because they do sound so cheesy for a business group, but like heart-centered, soul-centered, aligned, with their business. But at the same time, they're, doing these launches and running these businesses that you're not expecting that kind of conversation and bonding in the room,
Yeah.
So Anne, what's next for you? Like, what are you working on, and where can people follow you and learn more?
Yeah, I think my favorite place to be right now is Substack. I don't know why in my very busy move across the country year, I decided in April I was going to start a Substack. So I think it's Dr. Ann Arvizu.
And that's all writing, right?
Yeah.
It's like a blog, basically.
It's
right?
all writing. It's evolving into my next. It's Dr. Ann Arvizu, I guess, substack.com. My Substack is called Core Expressions, but you can look me up, find me by name, and subscribe for free. Or, one of the things that we're doing now is that I monetized it this year so that we can create something that we've done at Core Life Group, and that is the Core Life Leadership Initiative. So women that have been through something like a cancer or a big major loss or a job loss can get a scholarship to go into one of our programs for free. And so you get a leg up for entrepreneurship. And that's great. And so that's something that I'm passionate about. I love doing it. And it's also evolving into Core Life Radio. So if you've subscribed to Corepreneur Podcast, it's now becoming Core Life Radio. So I love that. I'm making it more of an evolution instead of a separate show like you did. So that's in the works. I think that's what I'm excited about right now, besides my entire 2026 business plan. But yeah, that's what I love to do. And authoring, and my next textbook is coming back out, the 6th edition. So yeah.
And how are you liking Arizona so far?
I love it. Are you kidding? Look at this weather we're having. I mean,
right now is why we live here. Just letting you know, the summer was not why we live here. Just clarifying. Right now, like these temps, it's everything. It's most of the year.
It's amazing. Yeah. People don't understand it. They're like, is it hot there now? I'm like, no, it's perfect. And for me, coming from South Florida, coming from 98 degrees and 89% humidity in July, this was cooler. So for me, I'm so glad I moved during summer. I actually might regret saying that after next summer because I'm now being spoiled. So we'll see how I adjust, but it's fun. Your skin adjusts, everything adjusts, and I'm hiking all the time. I love it.
Yep.
Great.
Aw, yay. It's so good. And then what is the reward in all this for you?
The reward is my legacy. The reward is the words that I'm leaving behind, the encouragement that maybe even this podcast had, that, you're having these deep conversations on here and allowing us to have those great conversations together when we get together. I think the reward is so much more than the money we can create. I mean, it's nice to have a revenue goal, but it's what am I leaving behind? And I've already left some behind. If I had to go tomorrow, right? Because we don't have anything promised to us, I think that I'd hear those words, well done, good and faithful. And I think that's really, really important. So the reward is getting to that next stage of life, getting past the glambition, right? Nothing wrong with that. It's kind of good. And I still want to be a little glammy. I mean, at least I tried today.
And we are, let's be clear. Yes. Gotta take care of things.
Maintenance.
Yep. Speaking of that, I'll send you the beauty black book after we get off the line, as promised.
I got this on recording now. That's good.
So everybody knows. I should sell that privately, like a little, just have a fee for it. So, Anne, thanks for joining me today and being so open with so much of your journey. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah. Thank you, Allie.
Right, thanks.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. Subscribe now to the Reward Podcast to be sure to not miss an episode. And don't forget to visit jointhetrust.org to learn more about our modern community for forward-thinking 7- and 8-figure women entrepreneurs. You can learn more, apply to join us, or refer another woman you know who is over the $1 million mark and is ready for a different type of women's network. We have events coming up both live and online that are truly creating new possibilities for female leaders. That's jointhetrust.org. See you there.